heroes that sort of villains that flop from endings we love to the ones that should stop. He'll call out the hype, tear down the disguise, say what you're thinking but can't verbalize. No sugarcoat, no play it safe plan, just raw uncut, that's Mr. Redman. Every frame, every game, every line's fair game. If it's weak, if it's fire, he'll call it by name.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I'm your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and I've got a very special guest today. I've got the man, I've got the myth, I've got the legend. I've got James from I Was a Teenage Movie Snob podcast. How are you going, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you. I was just jamming out to your new theme, which I don't know how long you've had it for, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm well, thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm excited for you to be here, and that new theme is actually all because of you from that website, because I was jamming to your new theme on your podcast. I was like, that's really fucking good. Like,
yeah, well, credit goes to Danny Boy from the Danny Boy Show, because he sent me to it first. So it's just an ongoing chain, like, of Australian podcasters slowly improving their theme songs.
yeah, just all down, different things. I know I tried like probably about 30 different combinations. Then until like that was the one I was like, all right, now I'm happy with this one. I'll stick with this one now. And eventually I'm gonna make it more into the content I make. But I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I don't watch your show on YouTube. I normally listen to your show on my podcast app. So I didn't know about the video elements and all that. I was like, oh my God, this is like a real TV production. Like, I just shoot all my stuff with the wrong camera on my phone. So.
Well, dude, look, you're actually, even though you say that, you're nailing it on TikTok. You've been nailing it on Instagram. Watching your viewership go straight up.
You're very kind.
And we were just talking about before we started this podcast is that you're on the verge of your 150th episode.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that we're that far in. That we made it this far. Like, I was like, if I get 10 episodes of this little hobby thing, that'll be good, and then I'll get it out of my system. And then people kept coming back, which was nice. So yeah, I don't know. It's been an exciting, kind of interesting journey, but I like doing it. I don't know if other people like it, but I like it. So
look, man, as long as you enjoy it and you keep making it, that's the main thing. Because it's like I've mentioned this in the past. I feel like in the past 12 months, I've seen multiple podcasters in our type of field have dropped off or ended their show, or they've done 10 episodes and then they've just finished. Even though like they've got the logo, they've got the video, they've got everything, and then gone.
Yeah, I've seen in the last 2 weeks, I want to say conservatively 5 to 10 announcements. We're done. We're closing our doors. We're not getting the response we want, which I think, and I'm certainly not the person to lecture people on how to do podcasts, but my whole thing when I first started, it was never about audience. You know, I was never like, I need to chase those numbers. Like, I was at a place I started in lockdown just like you did, I imagine. Like, if I remember correctly, you started in lockdown as well. I was like, man, I don't talk about movies anymore. And my wife is sick of talking about movies with me. So maybe I should start a podcast up again. And it was just to like connect with people. Yeah, and the podcast was so different back when I started back in 2022. It was just me and a couple of family members, a couple of friends, just talking about our top 5 lists. I never thought I'd do interviews. I never thought I'd have guests beyond like people in my immediate family or friendship circle. And then it just kept changing and evolving. And like now it's I don't even know what it is now. Do you know what I mean? But it was always always for me. It was just always for like me to talk to people and talk about movies and have fun and celebrate them. It was never about an audience, which is good because some weeks the audience is great and some weeks there's nothing. So, it's good that I'm not chasing an audience.
Yeah, we've all been there in that situation, and I'm the same with you, man. I started this not because I was chasing numbers, but because of just my deep passion. I love movies, I love TV shows and video games, and I wanted to chat about it. And like you, I did not expect for it to grow and expand the way it has.
Mm. Well,
Um,
because you would have started not long before me, and I remember you popping up, and you probably followed me first. And I always tell people this is not because I'm someone people want to follow. I'm just terrible at searching out people to follow, so I'm just an automatic follow back guy. But you came up pretty early on, and it's probably because we both worked on something for Movie Boners or Revisionist Almanac or
yes,
something.
100%. Yeah, we are talking
Um,
about that. That's
yeah,
probably why it came up.
yeah. Because you've been on my show, I guess I should say as well. I don't know if you talked about it on your podcast before, but I know because you released the episode on your stream, so people would know you've been on my show.
Yeah.
This is me with no show notes, just making up.
That's fine. That's all part of the show.
This is my podcast. No, there are no show notes. He just makes it up. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. It took us so long to cross paths, but
It did, and it's funny because the whole thing that made us cross paths even more was that we both got really excited that there's a brand new IMAX that's gonna be opening from us only 10 minutes down the road.
yeah,
Instead of an hour to go to the bloody city.
Well, as I've said, multiple times now, because that's the thing. We went from not knowing each other than being aware of each other, to conservatively talking on a weekly, sometimes daily basis. Like we talk all the time now, just about. And you are my main source of news now. Like if news breaks, I've probably seen it on your Instagram. So like I found about it at the IMAX thing because of you. I was like, man, are you serious? Like, that's awesome because the one that's opening up near us, a little bit further for me, about maybe 20, 25 minutes, but still way closer than the city. So I'll take a 20-minute drive over. Getting into I couldn't tell you the last time I went to IMAX in the city. It would have been before the pandemic.
Yeah. To me, it was only Tuesday, but but I'm with you. Like, if I wasn't going to those premieres, the last time I went to an IMAX movie by choice was probably about 9 years ago.
And
I think, well, what was it?
I'm like, what was the Nolan film in Interstellar's 2014?
Yeah.
So next it's not Tenet. It's got to be. People are screaming at the screen right now because we don't.
Yeah, I know.
We claim to be film fans.
Yeah.
We don't know. It was the one. Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, which is really Dunkirk was one. No, I don't. Like Metallica had a movie called Into the Never.
Oh yeah. I never watched it, but I remember.
And they did a whole IMAX
could not move
thing.
those DVDs to save our lives. No one wanted to buy them.
No shock. I also, just a quick shout out to Mr. DJ Fly High for coming past on YouTube. As always, everyone knows, we go live with these episodes every single week. And Mr. DJ Fly High is one of the co-hosts of the Nerds Amalgamated podcast. He's there from another Australia podcast up in Queensland, which if you haven't already, please, for everyone listening in, please go and subscribe to their channel right now. And I do really appreciate him saying all he needs now to wear is the Ron Burgundy suit because of the hat. But yeah, we're very excited the fact that it's only opening around the corner for us.
Now they said I do the premieres there, so we don't have to drive as far. But
that would be great. And I
don't think it's happening.
Probably not. But in saying that, I did see something which is also one opening at Melbourne Central.
Yes, I saw that. Apparently, there's like 7 IMAX screens opening in the next 12 months.
That's right.
But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's Victoria only or Australia only, or if I'm making that number up. But I feel like I saw something like 7. Like it was because you said Fountain Gate, and I was like, amazing. Awesome. And then I saw something about Melbourne Central. I was like, did Lee get confused or was there 2? And then I kept clicking and it was something like 7, but I don't know if it's 7 in Victoria or 7 in Australia. But either way, more than 1 is good, so I'll take that.
That's an absolute win. Because I was like, because when I saw the Melbourne Central one, I was like, yeah. Because of the premieres, I'm like, hell yes. But my mindset which is the same thing with Foundgate. It's like, where is it going to go? The fact that the one museum is massive and underground. So I'm like, where? Like they have to do a massive renovation at Melbourne Central, a massive renovation at Foundgate to fit the screen. Also,
just put it in front of the big clock. Just put it there.
Oh yeah.
Am I jinxing us if I say we're going to sit next to each other watching Supergirl in IMAX next year? Because
no. What's that word? When you manifest.
Yeah, manifesting. I'll take that.
That's what we go. That's what we're going to do for Supergirl, which I'm kind of excited for.
Oh,
Mr. DJ Fly High. I've always wanted to ask for you both, being premieres, how do you deal with the parking? It is the most expensive thing going to these premieres.
Oh, no. You're parking in the wrong place. There's a parking lot at Crown. I can't remember the name of the street.
Crown is good. Crown.
$10. $10 Crown, for like the whole night.
The multi-stair.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's great. Melbourne Central parking is a little bit expensive.
I think Melbourne Central, I don't pay any more than $14. I think I did pretty well at Melbourne Central as well.
No, I'm being jibbed. I'm being jibbed entirely.
Look, it's certainly not my millions of podcast dollars covering the parking, so because I don't have two bucks to rub together.
Wouldn't that be nice? That would be really nice.
I'll settle for free movies. That's pretty good.
I'll do it, and the alcohol and the free popcorn. And if the studios are listening to this podcast, which I would really appreciate if they do, we're eternally grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please send more, because we will share the shit out of it to every single person. We will keep showing up.
I went to a premiere this morning at 10 a.m.
Sunday
morning, and they served us cupcakes. So that was pretty sweet. I haven't had cupcakes at premiere before. That was great.
Here's your cupcakes, sir, and here's your Coke, sir. Please.
Yeah, I rang a little bell, and I was like, "More cupcakes, please."
Well, if there was going to be a bell, it would have been at the Downton Abbey premiere that we went this week, which is
a heck of a segue.
Oh yeah, that's the movie that we're going to be talking about later in this episode.
I would like to clarify, because I'm sure your listeners are like, why now? Why now has I Was a Teenage Film Snob come on, and why Downton Abbey? It was supposed to be Mortal Kombat.
Sorry. That's a really good point. Yes, it was.
I was going to do Mortal Kombat, and then Warner Bros. Pushed it back, which I don't mind. I'm glad they're pushing it back. I think a lot of studios sometimes they rush these things. That's why I was happy with the delay for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Take your time, guys. There's no rush. We're all going to go see it. Take the time you need. Mortal Kombat, I feel like I love that first one. Take the time. But I saw this message from you randomly this week, and you're like, "Hey, you're saying Downton Abbey. Do you want to come on the show and talk about it?" I was like, "All right, sure."
Well, you're right, because I thought I was like, I want to talk to somebody about it, but I was like, "Who's going to watch it?" I was like, "Oh my god, you're going to it as well, and you're the perfect person," because I've been wanting to get you on the podcast ever since we did the reverse episode where I came on your show, which was a great time. If you haven't already listened to it, for everybody else, please go check it out, and please subscribe to his podcast, because it's bloody brilliant, especially with all your co-hosts, which you're lucky you have a co-hosts. It's just me. It's just me.
Well, that came out of necessity. Like speaking before about podcasts kind of falling apart and falling away. I was never at that point. But I was overseas last year for a big part. I lived overseas for 6 months. My wife and I and my daughter, we kind of picked up everything and spent some time and lived in Scotland. And one thing I knew that was going to suffer was the show. I was like, I'm not going to be able to put out weekly episodes. It's not fair for me to ask my regular Australian friends to get up at 7 a.m. or stay up at like 10 p.m. at night. It's just not cool to do that. So if they want to do it and they can make it work, I'll do it. But it may just be less frequent. And then thankfully, America came out in a big bad way. I had a couple of really wonderful American guests, people who'd been on the show before or I'd kind of become friendly with. I had my first industry interview last year, Devaney Pinn, who directed The Black Mass and is currently working on a horror remake of the Aladdin film. She just shot Aladdin and Aladdin 2 back to back. So she came on and did the show. So I had a few. But when I came back to Australia, I was just like, man, it was so hard to try and keep content going out. That's where the 90-second reviews came from, because I was like, I just want to put something out each week. And I was like, it's going to be tough, like, to kind of keep the momentum going, and I'm running out of ideas. I was like, maybe it's time to invest in a co-host. Like, maybe I can get someone to help out with the show a couple of times, once or twice a month. And I reached out to my good friends Nick and Maddie, who, if you listen to my podcast, you'll know they were regular guests long before they became co-hosts. But they were both, I really liked them to be on the show, because they'd only ever met once before. They've met in person maybe a couple of times. They only met it through the podcast. But I wanted to do an episode on the films of Christopher Nolan. And I know my friend Nick loves Christopher Nolan. I know Maddie loves Christopher Nolan, and they're both very analytical in the way they talk. And I was like, we should do an episode, the three of us.
Boom.
And the chemistry was unbelievable. I knew they'd probably get on pretty well, but you never quite know until it happens. And I go, it was unbelievable. I was like, oh my God, these guys in front of a mic together are fantastic. So that was kind of proof right there. I was like, all right, well, if I need people to rely on, it's these two. And there was no second guessing. Like, when I asked Nick, the answer was instantly yes. When I told Maddie the plan, she goes, well, she's like, I better be one of the people you're considering. I was like, oh, okay, good. Fantastic. That made it really easy.
Sweet. This is going to go so easy.
And it's so funny. Like, I was like, well, now that I've got co-hosts, I won't be as busy. And this year, all I've done is interviews. I haven't had a single regular person on. Like, my wife hasn't been on the podcast. No one in my family's been on the podcast. Like, my best friend hasn't been on the podcast. It has literally just been the co-hosts, and then almost exclusively, pardon me, industry interviews. Like, it just, and this is not me bragging, it just happens.
Yes, it is.
Like, it just, yeah, I'm such a twat. Yeah, so it's kind of been insane. Like, it was meant to make my life easier, and instead life got more complicated in the best way possible. So, so those guys are awesome. But yeah, I don't know where we're going with that. I get sidetracked.
It's all right. No, you talk. Yeah, it's all right. But no, and it's doing really well. Like I said, like your TikTok now, your 90-second reviews, and it's funny because like I'd always, before we started talking, I'd always seen your 90-second reviews come up every time, come up in my feed.
No, that's very sweet. It's so nice. You're either being very sweet, or you're like, it was so annoying. Stop coming up on my feed. There are other things I want to watch.
Oh my God, where's all the Marvel stuff?
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, amongst all the other podcasters that I do follow, which I do follow a lot, if anyone does follow the Monday shoutouts.
Yeah. Well, you shouted me out very early on, and that was very cool. That was very sweet of you.
I know, that's all right. Look, it's something. The whole Monday shoutouts there was another Aussie podcast that when I started, they were called the Uncredited Extras podcast. Okay. And it was these three dudes that would just talk shit about movies, and they were a great bunch of guys. They're not doing it anymore. I've last time I chatted with them, I begged them to please come back because you guys had such a funny show. And he used to do a Monday shout out every time, and he shouted me out. That's where I got my little boost of my followers at that time. And I thought, you know what? It's the whole creator economy, podcasting. It can be very daunting. It can be very lonely. And I thought, you know what? I'll do exactly the same thing. So I've been doing that for the past 4 years on my own stint, doing it. And I'm just trying to find either a podcaster that's, you just started or you're just killing it. And I listen to their episodes, and I'll give them a shout out. There's only been one time it actually did turn a little bit messy.
Oh, really? Is this a scoop you can talk about on the air?
Yeah, I can. Okay, I would say exactly the podcaster's name, but this one podcast I found, this lovely girl, she started a podcast, and she'd done like 5 episodes, and I thought she did a good job. So I thought I'd shout her out. Little did I know that her podcast name was the same as another podcaster that was actually following me. And the wife of this other one commented and was like, what's this bullshit? This chick's copied our name. We've spent the last 4 or 5 years building our brand.
Wow.
And then I found out that this particular podcast had messaged her, apparently were rude to her about the whole thing about her name. And I apologized profusely. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me.
Oh, this is not on you. Like, I've seen a couple of podcasts. And by the way, can we still acknowledge that in 2025, it's still goofy saying the word podcast, okay? It's never going to not be goofy. It's like saying Power Rangers in a serious film. It's not going to not be goofy. But I've seen a lot of like podcasts fall apart and destroy friendships. Guys, it's not worth it. Like your pod, as much as I love the only exception might be yours because you work so hard all the time. But like no podcast is worth your personal relationships falling apart. It's just another avenue for you to talk. Like most of us are not going to become like Joe Rogan. Like most of us aren't going to become like Tell Them Steve.
Oh, speak for yourself. Like some of us have our name on our hats.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, and that's the thing. You got your name on a hat, so you got the edge. But like people take it so seriously, and I've had friends stop talking to each other because like they can't make the podcast work. I'm like, but you guys were friends before the podcast. You were friends before the word podcast. Like, just
that's wild, isn't it?
It's so dumb. Like, it's so dumb. And if you're watching the stream, you know who I'm talking about. Like, it's just a dumb way to do it. It's just like. If I had to choose between like some of my oldest, closest friends of my podcast, the podcast would close tomorrow. Like, do you know what I mean? I get one last episode out tonight, and then I'd close it tomorrow.
Yeah, then you close it. Yeah, which will say, oh, the tell all.
Yeah.
So, and it's true, and it's such a sad thing because she changed her. This person changed her name, and I haven't checked in this person for a little while, but I don't think she's going anymore. So I unfollowed the other podcast. I was like, nah, I'm not giving you a time of day. You're not going to get my follow. If you're going to do that to this really small person who's just started, then you're fucking filth. Like you're just.
And it's not like it was deliberate. They probably hadn't even heard of it. Like that's the thing. We're all independent. Like none of us have major sponsors behind us. Like we were talking before. We've been to these wonderful premieres and stuff like that, but like Sony doesn't sponsor my podcast. Universal doesn't sponsor my podcast. I had someone recently on TikTok be like, "How much is Marvel paying you to like say nice things about Fantastic Four?" It's like, do you think Marvel is paying for my 300 followers? Like, do you think Marvel thinks I'm making an impact? Like, no, dude. Some people just like movies, and that's okay if you don't like it, but I'm not being paid. I wish I was. I would sell out on a dime. But, you know what I mean? But I just like everything anyway. Like, if Marvel wanted to back up a truck of millions of dollars, I would say anything. A podcaster with no integrity.
Avengers should be Academy Award every single time. Like
I will say, like, look, you brought it up. I think that Robert Downey Jr. has been robbed. I think he should have got a nod. His performance as Tony Stark is incredible. He might not need to win one, but I think over the however many years, 10 years he played that character, couldn't get a nomination. Like that's not Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. coincidentally became Tony Stark in real life. But that's a performance. Anyway, I'm like all of your followers is going to like leave this page.
Yeah, it's all right. They know what they come in for when
they're like, oh, that guy's an idiot. This is why he hasn't been on the podcast yet.
No, and that's the thing. It's not worth it breaking up over the podcast stuff like that.
So dumb. In the most respectful, nice way possible, but it's really dumb. Like, be kind to the people you love. Like, you can always create another podcast later.
That's it. And I know another one. I know another one, which is a darn shame. These two people had this really great podcast. It was good, especially for everything they were doing. And then one day I noticed. I was like, I noticed on my Apple podcast that the logo had changed into something weird. And I was like, okay, what was that? Next thing I know, this person put up a video basically saying what happened. That person, they had a fight. He locked her out of the podcast and changed the name and everything. So she had to start again.
Yeah.
Which... that person, she's doing fantastic. She's going great on her own. She's absolutely smashing it. But basically, I'm like, why would you lock them out? Like, why would you go to that level? I'm like, if you don't want to do it anymore, and if your co-host wants to, then that's fine. Give it to me, or have that conversation being like, look, we did this together. Can you go make an offshoot of something where it's your own?
Yeah.
Not
It
lock
just
me
doesn't
out
make
and do all
sense.
this.
Well, I remember, because this is not my first podcast. I Was a Teenage Film Snob is the fifth. I've done a bunch since 2009 was my first ever one. I've been doing it for a little while.
It's
And
still
the
on Apple Podcasts.
some of them will be, yeah. But in 2016, Nick, my co-host, he and I and my wife started an Office review podcast. We were going to watch every episode of The Office through and do every episode. And it was called That's What She Said, which I'm sure there were 10 podcasts called That's What She Said. But at the time, we were like, this is clever. And it lasted about 9 episodes. And we were like, we should change this. Because we're meant to talk about The Office. And instead, every episode, we're talking about Game of Thrones. Because at the time, Game of Thrones was still airing. And we're talking about movie news. I'm like, we should probably stop doing this podcast and do something else instead. And so we ended up changing it to a movie podcast called Pass the Remote. That is still on Apple Podcasts. Pass the Remote is still out. There's about 60 episodes on there, I think.
Ooh,
And
I need to get back and listen to this.
before my daughter was born, it was right at the beginning of the pandemic, I officially stopped the show because we couldn't get to each other. Like, my wife was pregnant. She didn't want to record each week. We couldn't see each other. We didn't know about Zoom yet. Zoom hadn't quite kind of become in the populace. It was still like, so we didn't know about the remote.
That to the moon.
Yeah,
COVID
we didn't know about
boosted
remote
Zoom.
recording. So I just said, I'm going to shut this down. And one of the first things I said when I created I Was a Teenage Film Snob was, if you coming here because you liked Pass the Remote, that podcast is not dead. It's on hiatus. And when Nick Owen is ready to come back to the show, we'll start it up. And now Nick just became Nick joined this show instead. So it was never about closing anyone out or anything like that. Like, I like talking to him, and I just didn't feel right recording episodes without him. I was like, he's one of the co-hosts. He shouldn't be locked out of it. We'll just wait till the world comes back to normal. And then I started this show in the meantime with no regular co-host. I was just like you. I was like, if I'm the only constant, then I don't have to have expectations of other people. Like, that was the thing that killed it the most. I felt so bad because, like, my wife was tired, or like Nick wasn't available. I'm like, man, this podcast can't gather traction because we're not always available all the time, but I don't want to put pressure on people. If I have a rotating kind of like schedule of guests, if I have 8 people, that's 1 episode every 2 months. Like, most people can commit to 1 every 2 months. And that was kind of where the idea of my current show came from. And now they come on every month. So it's changed a little bit.
Worked out great.
Worked out really good. It's a lot of fun, and it's gone through changes over the years, so it's never been the one thing for too long. So it's never boring. It's always kind of not maybe for the listener, but not for me. So always self-deprecating.
Exactly, but no, and that's the thing is, like, why it's funny how you touch on that, because that's one little reason why I started this podcast without a co-host, because I was like, I didn't know anyone who would want to stay on for every single episode of this podcast for what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to put anyone on that burden, because my forward thinking of it too is like, well, if that person doesn't want to do it anymore, I don't want to be like, I still want to.
Yeah.
Like, I still want to keep going.
I only know one that's done it. There's one. Well, and you might know them as well, and if you've listened to it, but the Revisionist Almanac, it wasn't just Andrew Joe at the beginning. He had a co-host. I remember, and I talked to him when I interviewed on my show. I'm like, can we talk about it? He's like, yeah. He goes, look, the guy just wasn't able to commit. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm so sorry to the other co-host who's no longer. That's okay. Like, I listen to their dynamic, and it's much better. No disrespect to the previous guy, but what Andrew's doing and what he's created, like, he's been doing it less than all of us, and I think he's got more followers than most of us combined. Like, he's created something magic. So good on him. I'm doing a show in January, I think. So,
awesome. That's persistence. That's still going. Also, just because of real quick, just to touch on, because you mentioned about The Office, is Mr. GG Fly High. Are you guys hyped for the paper?
I finished it last night.
Oh, what do you think?
I really liked it.
90 seconds.
Yeah, in 90 seconds. Okay, 90-second review. I really liked it. It was never going to be The Office, but people also need to remember that The Office was not successful in its first season. People hated the first season of The Office, and it wasn't until midway through season 2 that it really garnered support. I think this at least has the existing fan base, and there are enough nods into it. So if you do like The Office, you can enjoy it. But it's new and original enough and doing its own thing that's not relying on those references. Like even Oscar, who's a previous character who's kind of jumped over,
Yeah, I saw that.
he's not in it enough to make it feel like it's an Office show. Like it's definitely its own thing. Donald Gleason is really good. Most of the remaining cast are completely unknown or lesser known, and it really serves the show. It ends on a cliffhanger. And I really like the cliffhanger they ended on, so I'm very keen to see where it goes next. It's already been approved for a season 2. So look, it's not as good as The Office yet, but The Office wasn't as good as The Office until like the middle of season 2.
Yeah.
So it took a little while to get there.
Give it some room. But all the reviews I've seen for, or the quick remarks I've seen, everyone has really liked it.
Was that 90 seconds? I tried to do it quick.
No, that was 90 seconds. I'll give you that. That was 90 seconds. Everyone's really liked it.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Like I was saying to my wife the other day when we were driving, I said, I don't know how rewatchable it is at the moment because it doesn't have that backlog of episodes. Like I don't need to go back and watch those 10 again right now. But I feel like if it's given room to breathe, and like the original series was, I think it will be quite rewatchable. There's one character apparently everyone hates, and she was maybe my favorite character. So it's really interesting. So all the Esmeralda haters out there, she's a great character. She's meant to be unlikable. You need unlikable characters to make it work. Most of the characters in The Office are unlikable. Yeah, it is the point. Most of the characters in The Office, like, is Michael Scott really that likable? Watch season 1 and tell me if he's likable. Like,
no, and it's funny. It's funny you said it because I've gone through The Office once. And I've watched clips ever since then. But that first season, no, Michael Scott is really annoying. Like, I'm like, you're not funny. And it's not until later on you're like, okay, now I get you.
The genius of that show is that it's because it's trying to be a documentary. Like, that's what it is. It's a mockumentary.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think the show doesn't get enough credit for is that it's trying to show every shade of every character, which is what a documentary does. If you watch a sitcom, if you watch a movie, like, obviously the characters you're supposed to like are going to be written in a certain way. And they might make some decisions you disagree with, but ultimately you'll never really question them unless it's deliberately so. Every single character in The Office has an arc where they're really likable, where they're really empathetic, where they're someone you feel sorry for, and then they also will all have an arc where you don't like them. And like they did that with Jim and Pam in the last season. You're like, oh my God, like you're making them really unlikable. Like these are the people we've been following since day one. And now like I'm struggling with them. Like that's the genius of the show. Like you don't like you don't like Dwight, but then you love Dwight. You don't like Angela, then you love Angela. And then Andy does it best. Andy you don't like, and then you like, and then you don't like, and then you like, and then you cringe. And then by then you kind of like it. Like everyone gets it. Which is really quite, ahead of its time. Like no one's really doing that still. Like even Parks and Rec, is not the same. Parks and Rec, they kind of fit within their molds for the most part. Like you don't really see that as much as The Office. But yeah,
still a great show. And
great show.
Did you watch? I haven't watched it because I know the reviews were shockingly bad. Did you watch Yeah,
I watched it while I was in the UK. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I liked Felicity Ward. I remember back when she was on the Ronnie John half hour back in the early mid 2000s. There was a stand-up comedy, a sketch show that was done in Australia. Back in the mid 2000s. Heath Franklin, who does the Chopper Reed character. I don't know if you've seen that stand-up. But yeah, so that's where that came from. So I've liked her for a long time. So when they announced her being part of it, I was like, great. I love her. I think it's going to be really worth watching. It's fine. But just like they didn't, unlike with the paper, they didn't give it room to breathe. Like they saw the reviews online. I actually don't even know if it's been cancelled officially or whether it's in suspension. I'm not quite sure if anything official has been said, but it doesn't seem like they're progressing with the season 2 at this stage. And I think if that's the case, Amazon must have gotten cold feet because And we talked about like my dislike of streaming culture on my podcast. I've been very vocal about it. In this current climate of instant gratification media, where you have to binge it all in a weekend, you don't get to live with those characters as much, and that's why I feel like at this stage the paper's not rewatchable because I binged it all in a week.
And
Like I watched it all in a
I'm
week,
done.
so like, it's done. It's not about enjoying the show anymore. Like back when we were younger, if there was a sitcom you like to watch, it was a weekly event. We have to be home by 8 o'clock Thursday night to watch, whatever it was, Friends or Frasier or Seinfeld or whatever the case. Or The Simpsons. Yeah.
Frasier, it's funny you mention it because that was a show I watched multiple episodes. I was like, I don't like this. And I was like, okay, I'll give it another crack. I'll watch the first season. Boom, 11 seasons later, I'm like, this is the best fucking thing.
It's one of those ones where when you're younger, it just straight over your head. But as you get older,
everything,
and really really relatable in a way. You're kind of embarrassed that you are. You're like, oh, I am that petty. Like I am that petty.
Real quick,
it was an event.
There is no announcement for The Office season 2.
Okay, there you
but
go.
It says apparently, according to Amazon's figures, it was a success.
Like that's one thing I really liked about what Marvel's been doing with the Disney Plus. Even though I have a whole opinion about the Disney Plus model, I do like the shows that they are weekly. Same with what James Gunn's been doing with Peacemaker. It gives me something to look forward to each week. Like every Friday night, I know I'm going to finish work. I'm going to hang out with my wife for a little bit. Once my daughter goes to bed, we'll watch some Taskmaster or something, and then for an hour I get to watch some good like adult comedy TV and have a blast with it. And I like the ceremony of it again. I like the build up because I feel like I'm living with it longer. I'm looking forward to it each week.
Yes, a part of me does like it. There's also another part. There's part of me does like that, but what pisses me off is when they split the seasons off and add like a month gap between them.
Oh yeah, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Like, there's no need for that.
No, like Wednesday. Here's 4 episodes. Here's 4 episodes. Like why? Or Invincible season 2. Here's 4 episodes in November, but you're not getting the other 4 episodes until Feb.
Yeah, Wednesday. I haven't watched the second season. I haven't started watching the second season yet, so I don't know. But if it's only 8 episodes, like that to me that's strategic marketing. They're like, we need to corner the weekend. If we drop all of it, we're blowing all of our chunk on one weekend. If we split it up, we can own a couple of weekends and get the streaming numbers, and we can get the streaming over some of the others. Yeah, I'm not down with that. Like, just give me, but that's the thing. They're not doing it weekly. They're doing 4 in one weekend and then 4 in another weekend. Whereas if they released it week by week, and like Netflix could totally do it. They've got enough programming. They could do it week to week. Yeah. And I know at the time when it first came out, that was the hot thing. People were like, oh my goodness, I don't have to wait. Like we've seen what's happened with rush productions over the last decade. Like slow down. For those watching and wondering, we are going to talk about the news at some point. We are going to talk about the movie.
It's all right. It's all right.
This is just like the amuse bouche.
This is the appetizer.
But yeah, I'm not. Well, you know what? I was going to criticize a studio, but I like going to premieres, so I'm not going to criticize a studio. I'll leave it.
Ooh, you're gonna have to tell me after this episode.
To be fair, this studio's never invited me to a premiere, but I'll keep. If I bite my tongue, then I may eventually get an invite.
Yeah, bite your tongue. Bite your tongue.
I'm talking about you, Pathé. I was trying to find
the most obscure, obscure studio. No, but you're right. I hate the 4. Like, give me if you're gonna break it up, give me the 10 weeks in a row. Which this past month feels like it's been insane because this week, I feel like there's been Peacemaker, there's been Dexter, there's been Wednesday, Alien Earth is out at the moment, Twisted Metal was out at the moment. So I was like, Thursday and Friday, I'm like, all right, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Okay, and then tomorrow there's 1, there's 2.
Yeah. I'm not a TV guy. I used to be when I was younger, but now I watch mostly movies. So like, unless it's part of a cinematic universe, or it's a sitcom that my wife wants to watch. I don't watch a lot of it. Like I only just got around to watching The Penguin, and it was only because when it dropped, I didn't have access to it.
Which is fair.
And now that I'm back, I was like with Peacemaker coming out, I'm like, oh, I should get HBO Max because I don't have Max. And I'll drop something else because I don't need all these streaming services. And then I pulled up, I'm like, oh, Penguin. Oh my god, like I'd completely forgotten about it. And man, like what a wonderful show that is.
How fucking brilliant is that? My review was that this is great, but incredibly painful to watch because you get to the end and you're like, oh, that's right. The Batman 2 doesn't come out for another 2 years. So
at that time it was 2, but now it's 2027. It's coming out. So
yeah. So I was like, this is great, but also very frustrating.
That 4th episode, the mid-season finale, where they did just the entire backstory of Sophia Falcone, who is a character that I loved reading in the Long Halloween. The Long Halloween is such a fantastic graphic novel.
Peak.
And they took a character who was very one-dimensional and very much just like a bad girl and gave her that episode. I was crying. I was like, oh my god, they gave her this tragic backstory and she should never have been a villain. And suddenly every single thing she did was justified. No spoilers for The Penguin. It's been out, I must be the last person to have watched it at this stage. I finally watched it. Now everyone has seen it. But it was so wonderfully done. And it really proved, I was like, oh, you can do and I'll use American ratings for the audience because no one cares about Australian ratings, even though they should because ours are better. You can do a PG-13 movie and then build an R-rated TV show in the same universe and it works. There was never a moment in The Penguin where I didn't feel like it was separate from Gotham. There was never a moment in Batman where I didn't feel like it was separate from The Penguin. I'm like, this melds so perfectly well. The tone is so on point. It never feels like I'm watching 2 different shows. And the one thing I'm noticing with Peacemaker is at this stage, that's the only kind of disjoint I'm hitting a little bit where I'm like, but I also think, we're only 4 episodes in. I feel like they're going to, they had to kind of repair or kind of bridge over the end of the DCEU. So they're kind of doing a little bit of that. But I trust Gunn. I think everything, there's never been a Gunn film I haven't liked. So I'm very excited for what he's doing. I can't wait for Lanterns. That is probably my most anticipated DC project at this stage. We're long overdue for some Green Lantern action, and we got a taste in Superman. But I'm ready for some lanterns. I want Blackest Night.
I'm ready for a Hal Jordan. I'm ready for a Hal Jordan. Sorry, not Hal Jordan. A John Stewart.
Yeah.
I'm right there. I'm right with you. And yes, Peacemaker has had which I think James Gunn has done very well, has the unfortunate bridge of moving away from the old DCU, bridging into the new DC, and also slam dunk the Superman movie in between that again. And then using similar characters again in itself that were in Black Adam, because we all loved Black Adam.
I saw Black Adam in theaters by myself in an empty theater, and I am not ashamed to admit, in the post-credit sequence when Henry Cavill show up, my eyes did water a little bit. It's like, oh my god, they got him back. And then I walked outside, I opened up Instagram, and it said Henry Cavill's been fired. And I was like, actually, you know what? That's not fair. I should clarify. It never said he was fired. His contract wasn't renewed, which is something that's very different from being fired. And I'm not being facetious. It is very different from being fired. A lot of people kind of come down on Gunn for this, saying that he fired Cavill. He didn't. He was at the end of his contract. The Rock announced he was back. The Rock does not have a stake in Warner Brothers. He's got nothing to do with the hiring and contract renewals. And then James Gunn had to walk in this very awkward conversation. So
pretty much.
But I didn't mind Black Adam. Dr. Fate was so cool in that movie.
He was done right. Hawkman was done right.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like, I'm like, The Rock, I fully understand what you're trying to be is the hero, but the character you've chosen, he kills people. You are a murderer. You cannot go, I'm going to play the Punisher and I'm not going to kill anyone except a demon.
I think I've got my Black Adam Steelbook behind me somewhere because I had
Burn
to
it.
collect them all. I think it's still sealed. Um,
Yeah.
there are a couple of late DCEU films that are on there in steel that are still sealed. I'll get back to them eventually.
Perhaps, maybe. Yeah, the whole thing, we won't get into it for this episode because we'll be here all night talking about the whole Henry Cavill, The Rock, and the James Gunn mash up in between that time entirely. But because we are talking about WB, I think one of the latest things that we need to talk about, which we're going to talk about the news now, surprisingly, is that there's a whole rumor going around that Paramount is getting ready to buy WB.
I saw this, and there's an Instagrammer I follow who's very, very reliable. He's called The Cultured Nerd. If you don't follow him, you should absolutely follow him. His family is directly connected to Warner Brothers. He has family history who have worked in studios a long time, so he's one of the few leakers and reporters that tends to get things pretty right. And he's The Cultured Nerd. It's like a bluey purple one. I would say, like, between him and you,
Bingo.
those are my two most common news sources, you and him. And from what I understand is Paramount is prepared to make a cash offer on Warner Brothers, but whoever oversees it all is going to be investigating it pretty closely because they allowed Disney to buy Fox back in 2018 or 2017, and Disney like, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, and then they did all the things they said they were going to do. There were mass layoffs. There were all these, jobs being removed. And like now Disney has such a huge market share and they don't want that to happen again. So apparently Paramount is getting prepared to make a cash offer on Warner Brothers, but I think a lot of people are skeptical as to if anything's going to really come from it.
Look, it might not. I must admit, I would think that, which I could be wrong by the numbers, but I would be more believable if WB put in the offer for Paramount.
Well, Paramount's got big money. Didn't they just give like how many billions of dollars to the South Park guys? Like Paramount.
Jesus, that's like next 10 years or like $5
billion or something. It was something insane.
Something insane for them. And the irony of the entire thing, which I think is so funny, is like, here's a big truckload of money. We're going to take all your content. We're going to put it on our streaming services. We're going to give you more seasons. But we're also going to be removing like 20 episodes from your catalog that we will not have on your streaming service.
That's why you got to buy physical media, boys and girls. That's why I've got my South Park DVDs over there somewhere. So I have
there's the plug. There's the plug.
All the banned episodes are still there. Paramount, if you want to sponsor my podcast, give me a call. Well, I think Paramount is a studio you don't hear people talk about a lot. Like you hear Universal come up, you hear Disney, you hear Sony. Those are your big, and Warner Brothers. Those are your four big ones. People don't talk about Paramount, but Paramount releases Tom Cruise films. Like, do you know what I mean? Like all the Mission Impossibles, Top Gun, Maverick, which was one of the biggest ones. They have a huge TV division. They have part of Viacom, Naked Gun, which I just saw the other day, which is very fun. And they also have Viacom, which is like a telecommunications company, and that's where their money comes from. So it's like with Amazon, like when Amazon bought Lord of the Rings for like $500 million or $500 billion or whatever it was, it's like they make more money in toilet paper. That's why they can make these crazy offers. So I bet you Paramount have more money than we're aware of. I don't need any more company mergers. The Disney Fox one, I would say, has been fine. Like, there's been some good content. Apparently, Alien Earth is wonderful. I haven't watched it yet. I like Alien Romulus quite a bit. But as much as it's nice to see the X-Men and Fantastic Four come back to Marvel, millions of people lost jobs. Like, do you know what I mean?
They did. And I'm going to be one of those people to be like, I'm glad they bought them because now we have the Fantastic Four and the X-Men in the MCU, especially the last couple of X-Men films. It was like, oh my God, you're just beating a dead horse right now, Fox. Like, give up. Just give up. And which I'm really glad. I'm not happy that all those people lost their jobs. But Disney saw the money and they won because they also got Avatar and all that.
I wasn't sure like with you like Avatar, which everyone loves. I'm renowned for not loving Avatar. So...
I have a mate from he's still not doing the podcast. He stopped his podcast because he was done with it, and we constantly have this argument. He's like, Avatar is the best thing. I'm like, no. I tell you that Avengers Endgame should be the highest grossing movie of all time, not a 2009 movie that's a ripoff of Pocahontas.
That's the thing. It's not even the Pocahontas thing, although I do agree with that as well. Endgame made most of its money in a couple of weeks. Avatar was in at least Australian cinemas for over 12 months. And then when Endgame inched ahead, James Cameron was like, should we put Avatar back in theaters? People want to say that again, don't they?
Yeah.
AKA, I would like to get more money in. That's what, and this is a whole other tangent. We don't need to rant too much about this, but that's to me is one of the biggest problems with what's killing the industry at the moment is every studio's chasing those $1 billion box offices. And it's like, not everything has to make $1 billion. Like, it's great that it can, but do you know you'd probably have a much more successful box office each year if you released a variety of films that cost less than $500 million to make. Go back to your $30 million J-Lo comedies. What happened to those? Your wife is a Downton Abbey. They can't all be for us, man. They got to be for other people as well.
I know, but I think those movies could definitely stay buried. I think I speak for a lot of people. And look, that's very true. Look at F1. Look at F1 this year.
Yeah, still haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things.
Dude, you will love it. You absolutely love it. And that is my surprise pick of this year, where I've watched the movie and gone. Sorry, that's my number one pick. My second one is the movie with the robot, with the guy from The Boys, where she realized she's just a sex robot.
Companion.
Companion, yes.
I loved that. I watched that on Blu-ray for the first time a couple of months back, and I was like, "Is this my favorite film of the year?" Because this is amazing. I was like, "This is so good."
That was my number one pick. And until I saw F1, I was like, no, this is the one where I've watched and gone, nah, that was...
Yeah, I gotta watch it. Once it's out on Blue, I'll pick it up. I'll do a blind buy. But yeah, Companion. I bought Companion. I bought Heart Eyes, and I heard nothing but wonderful things about Heart Eyes, and I'd heard nothing about Companion. So I put in Heart Eyes first. I'm like, okay, that was kind of fun. And then I put in Companion. I was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because cool. All right, nice. Yeah.
I went to the premiere for Companion, and and I didn't. I really looked at the poster, and I know sometimes it's some people are like, oh, didn't you go watch the film blindfolded? I like, unlike other things, movies you technically don't need to have a trailer or have a full breakdown. You get that full poster, that's all you need. And the poster was just her with her robot eyes. I was like, okay, I'm kind of into this. What this is going to be about, and absolutely loved it. There were our friends who went. We absolutely loved it too. We thought that nailed it out of the park.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. It's still we're 9 months deep into the year. There's not much left coming out, especially with Mortal Kombat movie. There's a couple more things I'm looking forward to. But the Oscar run stuff will get announced probably in like October. We'll start seeing those movies come out for the Oscars, which say some are really good and some are made for Oscars. Look at this stage. Companion's still easily in my top 10. Superman exceeded my expectations. Fantastic Four exceeded my expectations. So it's going to be the first time in a long time where I think some blockbusters make my top 5. It's been a long time since those blockbuster films have hit my top 5. I think the last year a big one like that was in my top 5 was, I think, Zack Snyder's Justice League and Suicide Squad. Same year, they were top 5 movies for me. But like since then, I don't think. And No Way Home came out that year as well. That was a big blockbuster year for me. But I think since then, there's not been a ton. I'm probably missing something. But yeah, like this year, I think
What
it's
was
the
the
first time in a long
big?
time where the big ones are gonna hit a top 5 for me.
I'm trying to think. What was the biggest movie of last year?
Last year, Deadpool Wolverine, probably a big one.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
think I
was
put that in my
good.
top. I think I put that in my top 10. Last year was a huge year for horror. Horror had a
Yes.
great year last year.
Yeah, 100% on that. And going back to your top 10 movies, that movie I don't think will be up there, which I've said this repeatedly because I think it was just giant, probably one of the worst films of the year that I have seen is Jurassic World Rebirth.
I didn't mind Jurassic World, but I should preface for those paying attention. I like everything. And that's kind of the thing with my podcast and with me. Like I don't necessarily like everything, but I'll try to find something to enjoy about everything. And I think there's some really great moments in the opening 10 minutes of Jurassic World Rebirth are some of the scariest moments from a Jurassic World film ever, a Jurassic Park film. It's so good. I wish the film had followed that tone from that opening 10 minutes
Yeah.
because that was insanely good. The worst part of the film, and not even worst part, the film that I cared least for was when they brought the family in. I was like, these
Oh,
guys are all fine. I just don't understand why they're here. Like, for this, if you had kept them out, it could have been a tighter runtime, and I probably would have enjoyed it more. But I still did like it. It just ran a bit long. They were on a boat for a very long time in that movie.
they were, and I agree with you. That beginning tone of that film, I was excited for, and they even
Yeah.
said like, "Oh, this movie is going to go back to the roots of the first 3 Jurassic Park films and have that horror." I was like, "Nope, nope, you didn't. Nope, I
This
will still will go back, and the first 3 films are a lot more terrifying and scarier."
this might be controversial, but can we make a Jurassic film that isn't set on an island? I remember, like in the
They
six, in
did.
the what are you talking about? Like when? When was the last time they didn't go to an island? They're always going to an island. They're all on islands.
Sorry. Number 2 was half and half.
Yeah, but that was 20 years ago. Like, and it was almost 30 years ago. I remember when I was watching Dominion, which I think we can all agree is probably the weakest of the franchise. Dominion's not particularly.
I won't agree to that. I think what was the
Fallen
sequel?
Kingdom?
Fallen Kingdom. I thought that was the weakest.
I think the first 3/4 of that flick are okay. It's only once they start auctioning off dinosaurs and clones get involved where it gets a little bit strange. But
Yeah.
with Dominion, I was sitting there and they're like, we're doing something different. We're going to do something different that we've never done before. I was like, oh my God, what are they doing? Like, we're going to a new island. And I was like, oh, this has got to be a joke. Like, this has got to be a joke. All you do is go to islands. Like, Fallen Kingdom had the best cliffhanger. They're like, it's dinosaurs. They're all over the earth. We're going to see heaps of them. And then in this one, they addressed it, but they tend to just go to the island. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like,
it wasn't an island. It was an enclosure, a massive enclosure.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, give me
the woods and everything.
Give me, you know what? Give me Mad Max, but it's dinosaurs. Like that's what I want. Give me.
Fuck yeah. But still, that sounds like that would be really awesome. It's been a while since I've watched a movie and gone, that doesn't make sense. Or that's unrealistic. Or why are we doing this? And I guess a good for me is the fact that I love Jurassic Park. Don't get me wrong, it is one of the
We talked about it on my podcast. You mentioned it in your top 5. Yeah. Spoilers
Exactly.
for that episode. Go on.
Spoilers. And then you watch this and you're like, I was just watching going, this is awful.
There are moments that are good. I like Jonathan. Is it Jonathan Bailey? I liked him in that. I thought he was really charming, and really fun. And I was sitting there watching it because they've been talking about, and I'm going to say it, and people are going to roll their eyes and get frustrated. But they've been talking about what to do next with Indiana Jones, and like everyone's like, "Not Chris Pratt, please, not Chris Pratt." I think
could
Jonathan
see
Bailey
that.
could do, he's got more of that nerd angle, which is what Indiana Jones is. Like, he's an archaeologist, a professor. Like, yes, he's swashbuckling and fun and a hero, but he's also a dork. I'm like, maybe Jonathan Bailey could do it.
Yeah,
But
I
anyway,
could see that. The other one I could see him doing, which is probably a little bit too close, which I can't remember if I spoke to you about this or someone else mentioned this to me. Stargate.
not me, but I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
As James Spader's character, I was like, I could see you if they make a reboot. Boom.
Yeah, no, I agree. Really good. There's very little ranting when we're in agreement, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I know, and I know, and going back to Jurassic Park, I think it also really annoyed me was that here's the 3 big trilogy summer blockbuster films. Let's dive right into it, and that was the first one. I'm like, oh no,
And it made more money than both Fantastic Four
I
and
know.
Superman. Which is
fucking
so
know.
strange because I would say like Marvel and DC have had a much better track record than the Jurassic franchise. It's weird how like the audience was prepared to give up on Superman and the Fantastic Four so quickly, but they're like, we'll let Jurassic World make almost $1 billion again. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Dinos. I don't care if people fall from the sky and doesn't make sense how they lived, or give you families that nobody cares about, or backgrounds that nobody else cares about, and people die mysteriously.
It does contradict the message of the films, which is that no one cares about dinosaurs anymore. Apparently, you put Jurassic in the title and people are showing up, so people still care about dinosaurs, which I guess is a good thing.
Exactly. And there was actually a recent indie film I think also did a
Jurassic
lot of,
War or something?
yeah, that apparently got heaps of traction because that was actually a horror dinosaur movie, and that did really well for an indie flick.
I saw that poster when I was at the theater the other day. When I took my dad to see Naked Gun, I saw the poster. I'm like, "What is that? Why do I not know about it? And how can I go and see it as soon as possible?"
I need to know more. Well, which that was a great tangent going down about Warner Brothers buying WB, which I did see someone make a comment be like, if Paramount buys WB, you know what that means? We had Superman and Optimus Prime in the same movie.
That is a franchise that I have very little interest in. I know I just talked about how much I love everything. Transformers has just never been my jam. I've seen the first one, and in the opening 2 minutes of the first one, they said before time and space there was the cube, and I was like, all right, this is not for me. But I did.
Oh, I'm just thinking about that Peter Griffin where he's like, nope, done, walks out of the theater.
But I did watch Bumblebee and really enjoyed it. I haven't seen Transformers 1 yet, which apparently is wonderful as well. But I like Bumblebee quite a bit.
I watched Transformers 1 on the plane, loved it. I think you'll really like that.
Yeah, I'm keen to check it out.
And as it stands, I'm pretty sure, I think on IMDb rating, Bumblebee is the highest rated Transformers movie. Transformers 1, Bumblebee for the live action ones is the highest rated.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I liked about I haven't watched the other ones at all, so I will at some point go in and check them out, just to complete them and see if my opinions change. I give every film a couple of chances, but it's not high on my list if I'm honest.
I don't think it's going to change, but one thing that has recently changed, which is finally surprising for a film that we just recently saw, which was The Conjuring, how it was marketed saying, "Hey, this is the end. This is the last one." And in the same week, we recently got a news about that apparently HBO Max is working on the Conjuring TV show.
I did hear this. Is it about the Warrens, or is it based on events from the Conjuring universe?
No details yet. Just the fact it's being written, and they're working on it at the moment. Which I was like, well, that was short lived.
I don't know if they do much more beyond Last Rites. I think Last Rites was supposed to be like their final case. And I don't know whether I want to see someone else play those roles so soon. I really like both of them, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, in those roles as Ed and Lorraine. It's such a wonderful. We're talking about it after we saw the movie together, and what I like about those films is they're not just horror films; they're love stories. And none is more evident than that final one, and that last one was so beautiful. That ending, and I won't spoil it because it's still fairly new. But
you can do it; it's all right.
So, well, I won't because some people are parents like me and I can't get to the movies opening weekends. I'll give you guys I'll be kind, but I thought it was so beautiful, and I don't unless they want to go back and do young Ed and Lorraine Warren, when they first started, so mild spoiler for Conjuring Last Rites. The opening 15 minutes of that movie, is their very first case. Or whatever, the first case that they got scared of or whatever. So if they did them in that era, kind of very early cases and stuff like that, maybe I'd be interested in that. But look, it makes sense. It prints that franchise prints money. Of course, Warner Brothers keep going on. And they've kind of abandoned the other side projects. Like they haven't done an Annabelle film in 5 years or something like that. The Nun.
Yeah.
Oh, the Nun they just did a couple of years ago, and I think that did okay. They never did like the other. They're meant to be a bunch of spin-offs from Conjuring too. They're going to do the Crooked Man or whatever. They never did that.
Yeah.
So
the last Annabelle was 2019, which is Comes
Yes.
Home.
yeah.
That was the last one, and
That had Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. The Warrens were actually in that one.
yes,
For a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, you're right. The Crooked Man spin-off. In May 2017, someone said the Crooked Man character from The Conjuring 2 was being considered for a future film. Fast forward, one confirmed in May 2025, he still hopes to one day to create a Crooked Man film.
One has not had a great track record with TV, and not his fault, because he produced the Swamp Thing TV show, which I think is one of the best things under the old Warner Brothers DC regimes. That Swamp Thing TV show is fantastic. And they cancelled after one season because the storage costs of the swamp sets were too expensive.
Yeah. And also I think
terrible reason to cancel a show.
Okay, it's true. I think also was that show, the lead actress also did something wrong, like she cut her hair and she wasn't meant to.
Crystal Reed. Oh yeah, because Hollywood's never used a wig before. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. That didn't end up very well in that sense.
I didn't know that, but that show's fantastic, and it ends on a cliffhanger, which is really frustrating. It's a really cool cliffhanger,
and we'll never get to see the end of it. Which
we're meant to be getting Swamp Thing in Phase 1 of DC, so hopefully we still get that. So
yeah, well, if we're meant to, but until then, we've got Clayface.
I'm keen for Clayface. Those images have dropped and they look cool. Those
they do, but I have Sony PTSD.
Sense of, but I think the difference. I will say, go on. Yeah, go. It's your show. Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Here's a Morbius. Where's Spider-Man? You don't get him. Here's Craven. Where's Spider-Man? You don't get him. Here's Madam Web. Do we get him? No.
That's a baby. Peter Parker.
As a baby, Peter, which they don't say his name.
My favorite Madam Web story is that they wanted Andrew Garfield to cameo, and they didn't realize that the timelines didn't match up. I'm optimistic because, first of all, Gunn has said from day one that they won't greenlight anything without a finished script, and they've done that with everything. In fact, like he was working on the script for Man of Tomorrow while like doing press and stuff with Superman, like that was being developed. Mike Flanagan wrote the script. Mike Flanagan is an excellent screenwriter. He did Dr. Sleep. He did Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. He did Oculus, which is a really underrated horror film from like 2013. And I think we're going to get some Bat. We might not get Batman's casting, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a silhouette or like, do you remember in Creature Commandos how they just like put a frame of Batman in for a second just to tease him? I think we're going to get like teasers of Batman at the very least.
I hope so.
But also, like, what a great opportunity to introduce the Batman character. Like, hey, by the way, it's not a Batman film, but like, could you imagine if they didn't announce the casting and then just you get to the final scene of Clayface? And you're like, oh my god, there's Batman! Like, what a great twist that would be.
It's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt is going to get a role in the DC. I don't know what he's going to play, but I'm okay. I'm not anti Chris Pratt. Like,
I'm not. It's just because that period of time it was like Chris Pratt is now Mario. Chris Pratt is now Garfield.
I like him as Mario. People are so harsh on him about Mario, but I think
I liked him as Mario, and now that's a great fucking segue.
Do it.
In fact, we got the teaser. I'm gonna people say trailer, but all that was a teaser.
It's barely a teaser. Yeah. It's like a title card reveal.
That's it. That's all it is. It is the fact that it's the Super Mario Movie 2 for April 2026. So we got the official logo. It looks like, I guess it looks good. Illumination, because they never do a bad job. Which, yes, that will be under Universal WB. That will be under that banner. So hopefully Fingers crossed on that one.
Universal have been so kind to us, or we're asking for us to continue that kindness.
Mm-hmm. And keep it
Super
going.
Mario Galaxy,
Yes.
which I just played for the first time last year, and boy, is that a fun game.
It's
Really
good,
fun.
isn't it?
Really fun game. I've been putting it off for so long, I don't know why. I played it on the Switch because I had the remaster collection, and man, like what a fun game. Really good stuff.
It's funny, like that's one of the things I love about Mario is that they just did like the most out of world thing, and it works between Super Mario Galaxy and the one that just happened just recently with the elephant. Like that works as well.
Wonder? Yeah,
Yeah.
I my only kind of critique of Wonder, because I got it for a Christmas present, because I don't really buy video games very often, and my wife was like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Give me that new Mario game. That'd be cool." I demanded it just like that. I'm like, "Get me that Mario game."
That one.
I was like, "Please, honey." My only critique is I finished it in like a week, and I was like, I kind of want a bit more.
Yeah.
It's funny, like as a parent, I don't have a lot of time to games, so I appreciate a short game, but this is a little bit too short. I was like, I would have liked to get another week out of this. But yeah, I loved that first Mario movie. I think a lot of people had too much expectations for a movie about a guy who jumps on turtles. Like people they're like, it's not ground. Where's the realism? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a dude who goes down pipes. Like,
yeah, exactly.
he went down a pipe. Check. Like he's done all the things I needed him to do. Like he's done all. I really, really liked it. I thought it was pretty flawless. That was my favorite film of the year. That Mario movie.
That was so good. That surprised me. I was like, no, this completely works 110%. I'm glad Illumination did it. They were the perfect company to bring this to life. It was funny, and not to mention Peaches.
Yeah, exactly.
With Jack Black, and even Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Great casting, like really good. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. Like, just knocked it out of the park. Like we were in for such a treat with animation that year. Because we also got Mutant Mayhem, the Ninja Turtles film, which was fantastic as well.
That did really well.
Really, and that new movie's coming out soon as well. I think. Is it next year? Is the sequel next year as well?
I think it's next year as well, yeah.
Jesus, we're doing well. We're in 2026. We are dining well.
Packed. 2026 is so packed. And on top of that is GTA 6.
I still haven't played 5, but I will get to it. I've got it on my shelf now. My brother offloaded all his physical copies of video games, and I was like, "Oh, GTA 5, I should play that." So I will play at some point. I have a 5-year-old, so I'll have to carve out some time to play it, not around it.
Look, that's fair if you haven't played it, and if you haven't played this, I highly recommend it. It's going to take time, but it is one of the greatest stories that you ever need to play as a video game, and that is Red Dead 2.
I've played Red Dead 2. Because I love Red Dead Redemption. That first game to me might be my favorite video game of all time. It's perfect. I wouldn't change a single thing.
No.
Part 2, I think is too long. It's my only complaint about it. I really like it, but at a certain point, I was playing it out of spite just to finish it. I was like, why am I playing as John... Spoilers for an old game. I was like, why am I playing as John Marston? I played as him. The story should have ended with Arthur. Like, why am I still going? Like, why am I worried about these bandits? Like, that was my only problem. And again, like, I didn't have a lot of free time to play video games, so I was like, I still haven't played Last of Us 2. It's still wrapped in plastic. I'm terrible at playing video games.
I'll get to it. It's funny because I still remember how people were like, I don't want to play this Arthur character. I don't want to play this John Marston. I don't want to do this. Game comes out. Oh my god, it is the best thing.
Had people never played a Rockstar game before? Like, the whole point of Rockstar games is that every installment's a different character. That's okay. Getting back to Mario, I'm very excited. I've been excited for this sequel since the first one finished. Like, I walked out of that theater, I was like, I wish they would announce the sequel already. And I don't think they even made a formal announcement. I don't remember them ever saying it was happening. It was just kind of like they just started working on it. So when they dropped that teaser, I woke up at 4 a.m. randomly. And I was like, pulled up my Instagram while I went to the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's happening. Amazing. Fantastic. I'm cool with this. Like, what a great thing to wake up to in the middle of the night. Which means we're getting Rosalina. because she's the princess in Galaxy. If they're
Oh
following,
yes, sorry, yes.
yeah,
I was
which
like
means
Red Dead. I was like, wait, hang on, what?
yeah. Sorry, I'm going back to Mario World.
Yeah, so back to Mario.
Which
Yes,
means Daisy gets shafted again. Sadly, hopefully Daisy will get to show up. But
I'm sure she'll make an appearance. But yeah, we're getting that April smack bang 2026
that is soon, man. Like that is so soon.
around the corner. April 2026,
I'm
we're
so
getting that.
glad. I kind of wish Doomsday was getting the same coverage as Mario, which is no one knew anything about it. Then suddenly it's like, hey, in 6 months, your life is going to
Boom.
be complete. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, the trailer, the teaser trailer for Doomsday is going to be insane.
We're going to have to wait a bit longer. I think it's going to be Super Bowl, I reckon.
I agree. Super Bowl is when they're going to drop it. I'm hoping that it's probably be a bit of a stretch. I think we're still getting a D23 or Comic Con.
D23 this year was not, so that just happened a few weeks back, I think. And it's not the movie one; it's the other one. It's the experience one because there's like two.
Yeah.
So they do the D23 Expo every year, but every second year it's the film one, and this year wasn't the film one. But they did just. Did you see the Doom stuff that came out of?
Yes, yeah.
Shanghai.
I didn't share it because I was like, I know someone would be like, oh my god, I just spoiled it. And to me, they were like, that looks just like a concept to what that.
Yes, I agree. Until like Marvel put it out officially, I'm just like, yeah, that's concept art. Like, it looks cool. I hope it's like that. But someone else like, back at Comic Con, like, this is what Doctor Doom looks like. I'm like, that's an Alex Ross painting from about 10 years ago. But sure.
Yeah, that's it. And how many times have we seen a Marvel concept and it has been nearly completely different to what we've actually got? So I think people are like, oh my god, this is the first look at Doom. I'm like, it's just a concept. I'm hoping. Actually, no. If there's no D23, no Comic Con, I was kind of hoping we'd at least get the official poster for Doomsday.
Boss Logic dropped his version this morning, and I liked that.
I shared it. I shared it straight away. I was like, he does some fantastic fucking work.
He's done a lot for them. Yeah,
he has. Do you know the whole story with him and Ahsoka?
No.
So he made a concept. He did his little thing of concept art as Rosa. I forgot her full
Rosario
name.
Dawson
As Ahsoka, and because that blew up so much, he was the catalyst for her getting cast in that role.
That's cool. That's like every now and then you hear a story like that, and it's so cool. It's like Donald Glover Spider-Man. Like that idea was first pitched by this guy Mark Bernard, and years ago. Mark Bernard is an African American comic book writer and podcaster and stuff, and he was like, "I'm from New York. I know Queens. Queens is a predominantly African American populace. It sure would be cool if the kid who wore the Spider-Man costume was black. That would make a lot of sense. You could get Donald Glover to play him." He just wrote it like as a tweet or an article or something, and then like literally within like a year, Miles Morales was created. And then, like, everyone was like, Donald Glover needs to play Spider-Man. Yeah. And there was another one I'm thinking of as well, but I can't remember now off the top of my head. Oh, the John Krasinski Mr. Fantastic. Like, that was basically willed into existence. I wonder if he'll show up in Doomsday Secret Wars.
He could. He'd be up there. And that's why I said it.
Council of Reeds. It's time to do Council of Reeds.
Right there. Anything and everything, the wildest thing you can think of, is on the table for both Doomsday and especially Secret Wars. Like, I'm talking Nick Cage back as Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Oh, well, after what's his face? You know, Wesley Snipes coming back as Blade. I think everything's on the table. Yeah. I don't. My faith is not shaken. You know, as much as like I've liked everything Marvel have done post Endgame. I've enjoyed everything to some extent or other. I believe in the Russos. So, like, I know that people will point to The Electric State, which I still haven't seen, or like other movies they've made, but they've never had a miss with Marvel. Like, every film they've made with Marvel has been fantastic. One of the two screenwriters they always work with, McFeely, has come back. I don't know why the other guy hasn't shown up. Not shown up. He has not signed on. But that guy, like, you know, it's a great writing team. The cast is great. Like, as much as, you know, people have been disappointed by the stuff, I'm excited, like, you know, and maybe my hopes are too high, but It's been 6 years since we had an Avengers film. By the time this comes, it'll be 7 years. Like,
How wild is that? Like, I'm saying, like, we've
we
been.
went from go one every 3 years to like now it's like 7 years. I think the biggest misstep, honestly, I think one thing that would have helped Marvel a lot is if Thunderbolts came out at the end of Phase 4. I think Thunderbolts is your Avengers film for the end of Phase 4. Because in Phase 4, you got introduced to all your psychic. You got Ghost, or Ghost was Phase 3, but you got Taskmaster, you got US Agent. So pretty much every character, you got Yelena. They all showed up in Phase 4. You do Thunderbolts, and then you do your reveal as New Avengers. Spoiler alert, but that Marvel spoiled it themselves. That should have been your Phase 4 Avengers film. And then, I think that would have helped the hype train a little bit more. But anyway, Thunderbolts is still a great flick. So yeah,
110%. And speaking of like, still going to Marvel, a little bit other news is because we're talking about the video games. Is that did you ever play a game called Broshock?
Mm-hmm. I've played all 3. There's 3, right? Broshock, Broshock 2, and Broshock Infinite.
Yes.
Yes, I have played all of them, and I adore them deeply. I saw they dropped something, but I didn't watch it, so I didn't see what it was.
Nothing like a image or anything like that. But Netflix has the rights to it, and it was announced. Oh, Jesus! I want to say ages ago now that Netflix was going to be making a Bioshock movie.
Wasn't Del Toro attached at one point? Wasn't he?
At one point, yes, he was attached to it. I don't think he's attached to it anymore. If you really want to go have a look at the history of the Halo movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was Steven Spielberg. There was him as well was attached to it. Peter Jackson was attached to it, and then we just got the dump TV show in the end, which I'm still mad about.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I remember I invested a lot of hours in the first Halo game when that came out when I first started high school. And my buddies and I, every weekend, it was just like Blood Gulch and like just going into getting the Warthog and try and snipe each other as much as possible. Hours into that game, yeah.
Triple kill.
Yeah. I never played. I think I played 2 a handful of times. I just wasn't very good. I've never been very good at shooters and stuff like that. So the first one, hours, like more than hours, like days of like weeks of Halo. Just played it all the time.
I'm right there with you. But the writers did come forward and say that they have officially confirmed that the movie will be based on the first game.
Nice.
I know that's not like a whole lot, but at least we know where it's going to be set.
I hope the only problem with that is that, again, like if you haven't played the games, you're in for a bit of a treat. But the game, I think, like the problem with video game adaptations that we see time and time again, and the same with book adaptations, is just so much. Like, and Bioshock is so intricate. Like, maybe it would be served better as a TV series. I know I said that I wasn't a TV guy, but knowing how intricate, unless they do an original story set in the world of Bioshock, but then the game fans aren't happy. Because that happened with Until Dawn. I went and saw Until Dawn this year. I loved Until Dawn. I thought it was really well done. I thought they handled the.
I forgot that was it this year. Shit.
I thought they handled the multiple choice aspect of it really well by having time reset. But people apparently hated it, and I was like, "How were you ever going to make that movie? Like how?" How could you can't do a choose your own adventure movie? It doesn't work. Look, I think they did a really good job with it. But yeah, video game adaptations, with the exception of Sonic the Hedgehog, which seems to be blowing people's socks off, statistically have not been so successful. Like we've been lucky with Mario, we've been lucky with Sonic, and I really liked Tomb Raider back in 2018. I don't know how that was received by most audiences, but I thought they handled that pretty well as well. But Bioshock's a beloved one. It's going to be an interesting process.
It is. And look, on top of that, which I've said previously as well, is that we're kind of in this, to me, I feel like we're kind of in this era of video game adaptations are finally getting the justice that they deserve. Yes. Because on top of echoing what you said, but Fallout, The Last of Us, even the Gran Turismo movie that we got last year was still fantastic.
Okay, I haven't seen Gran Turismo. I've seen the first season of Last of Us, and I loved it. But I know a lot of people have not been happy with the second season.
I know. A lot of people haven't, but I agree with you. If an Amazon Bioshock TV show with the same budget of money would be fantastic.
I'm trying to think which streaming service I like the best, because I'm not a huge fan of streaming services, and I feel like they miss it. They take a lot of that. I don't know. I feel like they miss quite a bit. I feel like Max has been consistently pretty good. Like Peacemaker, Penguin. They haven't really they did. Yeah, they did. Last of Us.
Yeah.
I feel like HBO, like maybe for Bioshock, would be the best fit.
Or HBO, yeah, Amazon.
Although,
HBO.
you know what, Amazon, I was gonna crap on, but Invincible and The Boys are great. So you know what,
Yeah.
Prime
And
doing what
Fallout.
they're doing. Yeah, I've only seen like 2 episodes of Fallout. I've got to go back and watch it.
You do go get ready for the new
I've
season.
I've never played the game, so I'm a little bit kind of out of the loop there. But
I played 4, and I'm gonna lie, I played like a few hours of it, and I got bored. I was like, okay, this is really, not for me.
But I liked Ella Purnell. I thought she was great. We got to get her into a cinematic universe.
Oh, yes, 100%. She did fantastic, and the thing is, like, a Bioshock. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm kind of like a little disappointed that the rights have gone to Netflix. Not saying Netflix has done terrible films or anything like that. I'm just like, we've all got that Netflix film that we're like, oh, that's really subpar.
Netflix just has, I think they overextended with their original programming, and they've had a couple of good, they consistently each year they've had something. They had Stranger Things, which I haven't watched the most recent season, but not for anything other than I haven't had time to watch it. They had Daredevil, and all 3 of those seasons of Daredevil are fantastic.
Brilliant.
Really good stuff. But even recent, like Squid Game, I don't know if that's a Netflix production or whether they just got it from. Okay, so I haven't seen I've only seen the first season, but again, like really well done. So Netflix have definitely got it in them. They can definitely do it. They just also have a lot of baggage, I think, and people will kind of. I think was One Piece good? I haven't watched One Piece. I'm not really familiar with the anime.
One Piece was received really well. That was really good, and season 2 got greenlit real quick.
Okay, all right, cool. And did they do The Witcher as well? Is that Netflix also?
Yeah, it's funny you actually say that, because you would have seen today that we got our first
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, it's terrible because, like, I get it, like, they've done and everything to do it, but I'm just watching going, no, you should have just ended it. You should have just ended it.
I've only seen 2 episodes of that as well, so I'm really behind.
He's no Henry Cavill.
Few men are.
Yeah,
very few.
Yeah, and you're the least interesting Hemsworth.
No, they've got another brother who was in Westworld.
That's right. Yeah, true. I forgot about that one.
That was really mean. I've got nothing against him. I liked him in Westworld. I just haven't seen much of his work. I was just trying to take some heat off Liam.
Yeah. Well, look, on top of that, which is probably the next best segue again, is that apparently A24 is reaching the end of a deal to acquire the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, I saw this, and it's interesting that of all the studios, it's A24, because I feel like A24's brand of horror is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, we're going to get some elevated horror, some elevated Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're going to get the Thinking Man's Texas. Yeah.
I think Blumhouse would have got it.
I imagine... I will preface this by saying that I really like the new Halloween trilogy. I know that's a controversial take. I really like what David Gordon Green did with all 3 of those films, but I think whoever owns the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre probably saw the fallout from that and was like, no, we're not going to go to Blumhouse. They also obviously had that flick with Netflix, which was fine. I didn't hate it the way people seem to object to that film. I just kind of felt like it didn't really bring anything new to the franchise. But it is interesting, like, although, like, once you take Blumhouse out of the mix, like, who is left? Who's pushing out horror? Like New Line? New Line had them because New Line did the the Marcus Nispel remake in 2003.
Hmm.
So they had them at one point. Who else would have it? Like Neon is basically the same as A24. They do kind of the same sort of elevator stuff.
Pretty much. Like, no one's really pushing, and majority of the recent horror films that we have going that have been really good, have either been from Blumhouse or been really indie.
Is Blumhouse isn't owned by Warner. Like, I don't know anything about the way studios work and stuff anymore. Does Blumhouse isn't owned by Warner Brothers, is it? That's a whole separate thing.
That's a whole separate thing. You're testing me now. You're testing me now.
Yeah, I've got some Blumhouse flicks on the shelf. I should look up, but anyway, because Warner had one thing that Warner have had a lot of success with over the last 10 years.
Universal,
which in Australia is Warner Brothers because they did the same distribution. But Warner Brothers had a really good track record with horror, with the Conjuring stuff, and that's like one thing they've had a lot of success with, despite the kind of pitfalls with their superhero genre stuff and some of their other movies, is they've had a really great run with horror. So Warner, I guess, could have bid for it, but maybe they didn't want it. I guess
maybe not. Oh, that's right. I was trying to think. Sorry, Sunday. What was the recent franchise that they just got, and they got Saw?
Who did?
Blumhouse.
Oh, that's right. They did too. Look, I like Blumhouse. I know that there's been a little bit of backlash over the last couple of years, and I think the biggest problem is when Blumhouse was created, like the rules that Jason Blum put in place was no first-time directors, nothing over a budget of $5 million. And those were the rules, and that's why that was so effective for so long. But as the demand grew, as they got more and more successful, those rules started to slip away a little bit. And I think that caused some problems as well. But I'm still excited for Blumhouse. If Blumhouse acquired Saw, it means we're getting more Saw films. And that last Saw flick was excellent.
Well, the bonus to that is that it would, as I'm reading this, is that the acquisition was finalized in June this year. And with the deal finalized, the deal would have James Wan and Lee Winnell regain creative control.
That's right. I remember reading that. Yes.
Yeah, all future franchises.
Which is really important. Yep.
Lee Winnell has been my star-strugged photo this year because I got to meet him at the Wolfman premiere this year.
I remember you telling me that when we saw Ballerini. You were telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm glad they've got it. And A24 acquiring Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Look, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with horror over at A24. So it's a weird mashup. It's not the marriage I would have predicted, but I'm excited to see what they do with it. Like, do you know what I mean? They're going to give something different. So
they are, and out of all of them, and it's a darn shame. Out of all of them, I'm really curious what they're going to do with that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what's also happening with Friday the 13th? What's happening with Nightmare on Elm Street?
Don't get me started. I am a hardcore Friday the 13th fan. Jason was my guy for the longest time. He's my first kind of horror villain. We have not had a movie since 2009, and now they're doing to it more. They keep doing to my favorite characters, which is they're turning them into TV stars. I don't want my horror movie. I don't want my horror icons on TV. I want them on the big screen. I want those kills in IMAX, or they're not getting IMAX, but I want them on the big screen. Like, show me that hack and slash wonderful gore, like on a movie screen, not on my TV. As big as my TV is, I want it in the movies. So
that's right. They got the TV show that's coming.
Yeah, Crystal Lake, whatever. It's
produced by A24.
Yeah, but it's still TV. I know like TV is good, but I feel like it makes it less exciting for me. Like, I want to go to the theater instead. I wanted the big experience. I want my 90 minutes of just like hack and slash and then move on with my life. I like it. I've tried having this argument about the Marvel stuff because I was talking to someone online about it, and they were saying they preferred TV shows. I'm like, no.
Mr. Danny Boy.
Oh, Danny Boy. He's looking at the runtime. He's like still shorter than James's appearance on my show. We haven't finished yet, Danny. We're going to get to the 2-hour mark. It feels like my poor wife. I was like, I don't think it'll be that long.
And just a quick side note for everyone who's an Australian fan. We do not know at this stage of which streaming platform we will be able to get this in Australia because right now it's only meant to appear on Peacock, and
Well,
we
that
don't
will
have
that
Peacock
that,
yet.
that might be Binge then, because the paper is Peacock, and that was on Binge.
That's right.
So Binge might have a deal with Peacock, because actually Binge also has The Office now, and they've got the Superfan episodes, which I've never watched before, and those are the episodes with the deleted scenes cut back into them.
That's
Um,
right.
So you can get that on Binge. So I saw that and I got really excited. I was like, oh my God, a version of The Office I haven't seen. I was like, I need to watch this.
Where is this? Actually,
Um,
I'm gonna check this right now too. So yeah, The Nightmare on Elm Street. The last one was 2010. That was shit.
That flick's
Yeah.
underappreciated. Like, that flick's okay. Like, people hate on that one. But Jackie Earle Haley was the absolute best casting you could have gone for that character, I think.
Yeah. So in September 2019, it was announced the film rights have reverted back to Wes Craven's estate. By November, the estate had begun work on future projects on Nightmare on Elm Street, which pitches received for both feature film and a potential HBO Max TV show.
There you go.
With the intent of having Robert England come back. I don't think he's coming back.
He said he's not. He said the only way he would do it if it was animated. He said he doesn't have the physicality anymore.
Nah. That's it.
The only way you can bring him back, I think, is to go, and people will hate this, so I'm just warning you guys, is to go grounded. You can't do Fantasy Freddy anymore. You can't have him jumping around. You can't have him like swinging off bars and doing all sorts of acrobatics. But if you do like slow moving 3 parts, I think he's talking about my episode with him.
I was going to say 3-part legend.
I was on his podcast, and his show goes for 30 minutes, and we spoke for 2 hours. So maybe he means he broke it into 3 parts. I don't know. I told him he could if he wanted to. It's his show. I'm not the boss. Yeah, I think the only way to do it is to make Freddy more like a Nosferatu type character and have him in the shadows and make him stalk prey and make him slow moving. Because Robert Englund's in his 80s, or I think that's the only way to do it. I don't want CGI Freddy. I don't want
No way. And it's surprising to me that something like as a iconic franchise of that has just been laying dormant for so long, and even Friday the 13th has been so dormant.
How has Art the Clown been left unchallenged for 10 years? Like, we've had no other new monsters. Like, who are the new monsters? We've had like Leatherface has popped up a couple of times. And like, you could argue like Annabelle, but Annabelle's not doing anything. Annabelle's just sitting there. Megan, if you're in America, I guess Megan is kind of like in the new generation of monsters. But we don't have many. Like, we need to get some monsters. And Art the Clown is the only one, and he's only had 3. I mean, if you include the anthology film, a few more.
But, well, they said they're going to have a 4th one, aren't they? They said they're making a 4th one.
I believe next year is Terrifier 4, which I'm very excited for as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy, those flicks are insane.
I know. I've only seen.
You're not a horror guy. So.
No, I've only seen one, and I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Which one did you watch?
The first one. I'm like, nah. I'm like,
that
I'm
is
good.
That's probably the tamest of the 3.
Yeah, see, and everyone's told me that, and I'm like, I don't need to go back. And if I got a premiere invite to that, I would not eat with a full stomach going into that.
I would say, 1 is the tamest of the 3, but I would say that 1 is the most serious and darkest of the 3. 3 has a really good balance of humor. So whilst it's probably the goriest, first of all, the gore in 2 and 3 is very rubber. Like, I've seen people like, it's so realistic. It's not. Like, but that's part of its charm. Like, it should look a bit silly. But 3, I would say it's a really good balance of comedy and horror. So it's like really horrible scene, really funny scene, really horrible scene, really funny scene. And sometimes you get a bit of a mismatch. But in 3, spoiler alert for a year-old movie, children do get harmed, which is kind of, we're in this new generation of horror where children are no longer safe. Which is interesting as a horror viewer, but
what about you don't really see anything, but have you seen 28 Years Later?
Yes.
The first 5 seconds of it, I was like, damn.
Yeah, That's pretty tame compared to definitely to Terrifier. When Evil Lurks was a big one a couple of years ago. It was like an Argentinian film, I think, and that children got harmed. Yeah, children are no longer safe in horror films, which is really interesting.
Well, no, they're not. And that was, it's I'm just on a tangent again, really. That was also the type of rule with John Wick, was that you do not harm a dog on screen. You cannot break that rule.
Which, to be fair, it is off screen in John Wick. Thank goodness.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now people have to find new limits to push because people are so desensitized to everything now that, horror movies compared to what we see today compared to what it was back then, which, you watch the first Friday the 13th or you watch the first Nightmare on Elm Street and then you watch a horror movie now and you're like, damn.
Well, Friday the 13th, and we are going on a tangent, is a really interesting one because people think that. They're like, oh, it's not too... Like, for the time it was violent, but it's not violent by today's standards. There is a scene in Friday the 13th, the original one, where they cut a snake in half with a machete. That was a real snake. There is actual evidence of animal cruelty in that film, and people forget about it because they think about Jason. Spoiler alert, Jason's not really in the first one. He doesn't show up to movie number 2. But yeah, although to be fair, Europe have been doing it for years. The European horror scene is insane.
Yeah,
there's some really full. I got a couple of lovely, horrible films up there, which I'm going to be talking about on my podcast very soon because I'm doing an episode on extreme cinema. Plug. So if you want to throw up, listen to that episode.
Yeah. True.
So, what were we talking about? Yeah. There's the A24 got Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, A24 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yes.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, so that's on the horizon. But look, let's talk about why we're all here.
Yes.
Finally,
yes.
Let's talk about the Downton Abbey, the grand final, the third movie in the franchise, which brings everything to an end for this fantastic show that has been well received worldwide. Which, when I was talking to Maddie, my wife, I didn't realize, I totally forgot how old the show originally started.
When it was like 2011 or something, or 2010?
It was 2010. I was like, really? I swear it wasn't that old. And I also thought it went for longer. It only went for 6 seasons.
Yeah, 6 seasons.
And then 3 movies. And, generally it wasn't my cup of tea, but I do watch it when May does check on the TV. And I could see why people love it. And getting the whole family together, especially that, the 1920s and 1930s, that this era goes across, and obviously, going across with this family, also then going across with the war happening at the same time, how that affected family, how that affected all the characters around, and, social standing, and the comedy was there. The entire cast fit like a glove with everybody. And this is the big one that was to wrap up everything. This is the wrap up and the last 2 movies and finish it up on a high, which to me personally, which we will go into spoiler territories, 100%, it did end on a high. But for you, my man, what was your initial thoughts?
Yeah, so I have never watched Downton Abbey. I put this in my review as well. I was I'm going to be very honest about it. I've never watched it. I only have seen 2 moments from the TV show. The first is when Hugh Bonneville, who plays the father of the family in the Abbey, he has an ulcer in his stomach. He throws up blood all over the table. That's in the first season of Downton Abbey. I was like, well, this is a cool show. So I've seen that. Yeah. And there's a big moment when the war is announced. And we're at war. I remember that scene as well. Yeah. But beyond that, I hadn't seen it. I didn't have any expectations going in because I just didn't know what it was going to be like. My biggest concern was I was going to be sitting there for 2 hours confused. I was like, man, I'm going to really
I have no idea what's going on.
But I thought they did a really good job of taking an existing franchise, which has 2 movies and 6 series of TV behind it, and made it accessible for new viewers. You can go in and watch this flick and get it. You know, like
Yes.
obviously your experience will be enriched if you watch the other material, I'm sure. But I was talking to my wife, and she's seen all of it, and she goes, "I don't remember half the stuff." She goes, "But like, she's like, I was able to piece it together pretty quickly." But yeah, it was interesting because we've been talking about the types of films we've been talking about for the last 2 hours now, and
I
most of
know.
the stuff that we
It's
watch
been great. It's been great.
has a villain in it. There's some fighting, there's some gunplay. This ain't that. This is a film where
No.
like the main antagonist of this film is the classists who are anti-divorce. Like that's what
Yes.
the big problem with this film is. The one of the main characters has filed for divorce, and her divorce is finalized. This happens in the first like 10 minutes of the flick, so it's not even really a spoiler. I'm sure it was in the trailer. And then the rest of the film is her kind of navigating the waters of society. Like how can she progress in the society now that she's known as a divorcee? Like she won't be welcome at parties and stuff like that. And then you've got like this kind of money scheme. It's not really money laundering, but it's kind of like there's this kind of guy who's like embezzling money, and that's a side plot. And Paul Giamatti's involved. He's kind of like the hapless fool. So when I walked out of it, like I said to my wife, I was like, "Well, that was very pleasant. It was a very pleasant. Like that was the biggest compliment I give the film. Like the stakes are never so high that I was, worried someone was going to get killed or like something terrible was going to happen. My heart rate was pretty steady for this flick. It was pretty manageable, but I found it to be very pleasant, and I really enjoyed the humor based on the difference between the classes. Like, and there's my favorite character in that flick. I can't remember his name, but it was just the one guy who wanted to run the big fate, and they kept like saying, like he was kind of poo-pooing his ideas. He just wanted to be like this oppressive white male in the 1930s, and they wouldn't let him be a jerk. And I really liked him.
No, every 2 seconds. That's right. The comedy for the film was on point. And to go back, like you're right, because like even the side plot with money hungering, that leaves the film like halfway through. Like that whole plot, like the almost technically the real big bad of the film.
Yeah, he's the only
halfway
real villain.
through. Yeah,
and actually he is pretty nasty because at one point, like, and again spoilers because the flick's just come out. He sleeps with one of the characters. There we go. I'll keep it that vague. He sleeps with one of the characters, and at a certain point,
first
it's like,
10 minutes.
First 10 minutes, they're getting down. And at a certain point, it's like, it would be a shame if polite society found out about this. I'm like, is this like a sexual embezzlement film now? So it was pretty raunchy. Like it's for a PG. They definitely kind of got into it.
And Simon, that guy, he sounds so familiar. And the reason why I'm bringing it up because we were just talking about 2 seconds ago. He's from Jurassic Park 3. He's Billy.
Oh, is he? I wanted to look him up, and then I just didn't. Let me pull up the old IMDb because I really dug his performance. I was like, I feel like I should know him from something. He doesn't look familiar at all, but I feel like I should know him.
His voice.
Alessandro Nivola. I do know him. I know that name.
Also, a trivia fact for everyone. If you also go on IMDb, Lights Come Around the Podcast is also on IMDb.
Oh, really? Very cool.
Yes, it is.
That means I might be on IMDb. He just played the Rhino in Kraven the Hunter.
Yes, he
That's
did.
crazy.
That's weird
crazy. Like this guy's got a hell of a
he does.
filmography. The Brutalist, Amsterdam, Many Saints of Newark. Like he's in everything. He's done so many things. Neon Demon. But yes, that's what I knew him from was Kraven, but I forgot. That's so funny that he was the Rhino, and then he's this guy here. I liked his character. I also liked was it Dominic West who played the actor?
Yes. That was the whole trio of actors was fantastic.
I said to my wife when we were driving home, I'm like, and again, this is maybe a potential spoiler. I was like, were they meant to be a throuple? And she goes, yeah, I think they were. And I was like, that's so amazing that in this 1930s period piece drama, you had a gay throuple. Like, because I was trying to figure, I was like, I knew Dominic West was one of the in the romantic relationship, but I couldn't tell which the other two guys was. And I thought maybe it was all three of them. She goes, yeah, I think it was a throuple. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So I really dug that.
I think that too. With a few of those scenes, I was a bit like, All right, this is a joint effort. I can see.
Yeah, like I was like, that's so funny. Like she's getting all this crap for being divorced. Like meanwhile, like no one knows.
Look over here with these three guys, just
Yeah.
flaunting fine, but oh no, you're divorced. No.
It's so funny, like because it was a really funny movie. I was surprised how funny it was. But if people ask me like, what are the great comedies of this year, I wouldn't even think of it as a comedy, and I'd be like, oh, it is funny,
No.
but you got to be really into humor about the class differences of the
Yes.
1930s society. Like it's very hard to explain why it's funny. But like the audience was in stitches. The audience was laughing quite a bit.
Oh, everyone was laughing at every single bit and crying as well. Maddie was crying, and for
The
everyone who hasn't
oh
checked
yeah,
out Instagram, I was gonna say they went all out. Universe went all out
oh my
with
goodness, did they?
the premiere, the car, the theater, the wine, the live music.
Yeah, string quartet.
Hmm?
They
Yeah,
had a
shit.
string quartet.
Yeah,
It
playing.
was a gorgeous night. And like here's the real like this is what seals the deal of the level of class. Free choc tops. You
Yes.
know,
I
at
was,
a premiere we normally get a free popcorn, we get a free drink. Here, free choc tops. I was like, oh my goodness, we
yes.
made it.
Yes. And we did when we sat down, I was like, there was no popcorn. Like I've got to go back and buy popcorn.
Did you have to buy it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't get popcorn in the end. So I was okay with my choc top. But yeah, no, and it was at the Rivoli, which I'd never been to before, but is a beautiful cinema in Hawthorne.
Oh,
Well,
so
gorgeous theater.
so grand and perfect for this
Mm.
film.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. As was the film, it was just a lovely film. It felt very. And like this is gonna sound like such a dumb comment, but it felt so appropriately British. Like when you watch like British TV shows, like it just, and I guess it is, it's based on TV shows as well, but it just felt like watching like a very wholesome British hour of TV.
Eh,
Yeah, it was. I was shocked how much I enjoyed it. I was kind of like, I'm doing this as a favor, like not a favor. Like I wanted to go, and I wanted
Your
to review
wife.
it. But it was an opportunity to
Yeah.
take my wife out. We don't get to go out very often, so like this is a cool one
Mm.
for us to. But I was like, if I don't like the film, that's okay. And I was surprised how much I really did enjoy it.
I'm right there with you. I liked it because, as you said, you didn't need to know everyone. You can go into this film and be completely caught up that you want to go back and like, I want to watch the 6 seasons. I don't watch the other two movies. Like it will make you feel like that if you watch this one. And not many shows, which we're both well aware of, which we've seen time and time again, where shows do not get their justified ending.
Yeah.
You don't get the resolution. Like you have like, okay, we guess that these characters got together, or we guess these characters wrapped up, but this was everything they did to finish off the show, with passing the crown to the daughter to take over the family and steer the ship, them moving to the dollhouse as well to go to the next stage of their lives, and just the family getting ready to go on to the next stage of their lives all together in every direction.
I think that's the one thing that would have really enriched the experience if I had have watched the show, because there was a lot of passing of the torch. Like the head butler retired and he passed it to like a younger butler who was going to take over.
Yes.
And my
Yes.
understanding, he's been in the show since day one, so I imagine
Yes.
that would be very emotionally fulfilling if you've been watching that show. Same with like the cook, like the old cook retired, and then the young cook came in, and she was really funny because she went into a lot of those meetings with like the stuffy old guy who wanted to run his super white fate.
We should have a lost children's thing. Why?
Yeah, exactly. And I did get emotional as well. Look, I'm a big movie crier. I cry a lot, but with this one, it had nothing to do with the movie. And again, I wouldn't even say it's a spoiler because it doesn't impact the plot at all. But I knew when the film was ending because it felt like every time they were in the main hall of the Abbey or the building they live, there's a picture of Dame Maggie Smith because she played like the mother in the show, and I remember seeing her like in snippets from the show, and she obviously passed away since the last movie. And so every time it popped up, I was like, oh, there she is. Like, it's so nice they managed to include her. And the
Mm.
last shot of the film is just a slow zoom into the portrait. And I was like, oh, this is the end of the film. They're going to end on here. And they did like a little in memoriam thing. And that's the thing that broke me. I was like, oh man, like, it's so sweet. They got to honor her one more time. Like, yeah.
And that's what broke my wife Maddie as well. She's
Yeah.
like that whole scene of her doing all the reflection, especially with her divorced husband as well, really putting the point that he was the love of her life. He is the most important. Like, you know, if you ever experienced true love once, that was him.
Yeah. I do want to go back and watch it now, which is like I'm like, I need to fill in the blanks so I can appreciate it. But it was.
That's why.
Yeah, it was. I was floored by how much I enjoyed it. I was like, and not that I expected it to be bad, but because I'd never watched the show, and it had never really interested me in the past, I was like, well, how much can I get out of a film, which is the finale of 15 years of content,
Yes.
and I never really had an interest. But I felt the same way I felt after watching Conclave. Like Conclave, the film that came out late last year, early this year, the Ralph Fiennes Priest film. I was like, I want to watch all the Oscar films, but this is the one I'm not looking forward to because the poster looks really boring. And then it was my favorite film of the lot. I was like, oh my God, you surprised me. And that's how I felt with Downton Abbey. I'm like, wow, like, look, it's probably not going to outclass Fantastic Four for me, I'll be honest, but I enjoyed it way more than I expected to. I had a really good time with it, to the point where I could imagine rewatching it. If I did all the shows and stuff, I'd want to go do it again to get that finale. So
I'm gonna say the same thing, but I'm not gonna say it too loud because I know Maddie will burst in this room and be like, "You want to watch it from the start? You want to go? Let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go."
I'm in my garage, so my wife got me.
It did a fantastic, and it didn't feel too long. Every character got its justice, and to wrapping it up. Because sometimes when you have these type of movies or even a TV show, you're like, okay, let's wrap it up. We get it. Everybody's going. Yeah. Everybody's leaving. Like, let's wrap this up. We don't need to cry anymore. But it's a tight 2-hour movie. It doesn't feel like too long, and it just does a great Snapchat. And not to mention, which I just had here, is that even the budget for the movie wasn't actually too bad either. Which I always bring up every single episode, because I always find it curious how much money that this does make. Where I had it before, I think it was only like 50 million.
Well, I think because it was probably a UK production, and they tend to spend less on their film and TV than America does. Obviously, America loves to spend money, which
yeah.
You can see on the screen a lot of the time, but I think in the UK they tend to keep it a little bit cheaper. And I bet you, pardon me, the actors probably weren't paid a king's ransom the way they would be if they were an American production. It was probably a much more conservative number.
Yes.
Yeah. I would say the only thing that really held this film back is the lack of fatalities, which we were promised with Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah, it was too. Yeah, sorry, 50 billion.
50 million, that's pretty good.
50 million to make this movie for 124 minutes, and right now, as we're recording this, it's made $9 million at the box office.
Yeah, it'll make its money back.
Yeah, it will.
100% it will. Like, that's like, for people listening, like, $9 million, that's nothing. It's like, no, that's nothing if you're Avengers. Like a $50 million budget, like $50 million budget, that's easy. Like, and people don't realize that, like, VOD, like Apple sales, like Google sales, like, all that, if you rent it or buy it online, like, that counts as well. So they'll make their money back. Absolutely.
As soon as it jumps into Amazon Prime, it will make its money. Like, for all those people that I watch the TV show, and I'm in my house, I'm only going to watch it in my house.
Yeah, and also, like, TV rights, like, once it gets to TV, like, they'll get residuals and stuff as well. Like, what's it up against in the theater at the moment? Like, it's up against Conjuring was the week before, but with the exception of you and I, that audience doesn't really cross over.
No. Honey,
Weapons.
Conjuring on Friday.
Caught Stealing came out last week. That would maybe overpaid a little bit.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, the Roses. The Roses is big competition. That'll be
What
the
was
big
it?
competition.
What was the Roses?
That's the it's the Olivia Colman, Benedict Cumberbatch like
Oh yeah,
divorce
the
movie.
basically the rip off of Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Is it violent? I thought it was just like a
It,
divorce movie.
it,
Because
it's
it's based on the War of the Roses, which is an old property. But
like it's not violent. Just from the trailer I saw, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
this just looks like a less violent Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I
Like,
think it's a remake of the War of the Roses, which I think came out like in the 70s or something. So
you are you are so close. 1981.
there you go. I couldn't remember exactly when it was, but that seems like the kind of film. It's another British production. That feels like the biggest competitor for Downton Abbey, even though they're vastly different. Like the Conjuring audience was never going to go to see Downton Abbey,
No,
but the Roses audience probably would have. So,
no, and it's funny you say that because for the Roses, $30 million budget, it's already made $34 million at the box office.
yeah, there you go. There you go. But big, I would argue bigger cast. Like the Downton Abbey cast isn't particularly large. Like the biggest name in that flick is probably Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, to the worldwide audiences, yes, it would.
Yeah.
Where the fact that with the Roses, you've got Benedict Cumberbatch,
Olivia Colman,
Olivia Colman,
and some other people as well who I can't remember off the top of my head. But I've been watching the press trailer.
Andy Samberg, yeah,
huge. Like Downton Abbey, when was the last flick? Like at least 3 years ago. The show ended 10 years ago. But the difference is Downton Abbey doesn't need to make its money back. Even if it's a box office flop, it's the finale. They're not making any more. Like it could lose money and they'd be fine.
That'd be fine. Well, look, in perspective, the last movie, Downton Abbey: A New Era, that was a budget on $40 million, and that made $92 million back at the box office.
What year was that?
That was 2022.
Oh wow, post-pandemic. I would not have called that.
And the original movie, wow, holy shit! The original movie only cost $20 million budget, made $200 million at the box office.
That was coming off the coattails of the show, and those are pre-pandemic numbers, and pre-pandemic ticket prices.
Yes, that was the show. Yeah, that was 2019, and I think the show just ended in 2016.
Yeah. But yeah, it felt like without knowing all the history that came before it felt like a good ending. I felt very satisfied. I'm like, yeah, this feels like it's a happy ending, and I don't need to know any more about these characters. Although you were talking about war before, and I'm like, man, like this movie is set 7 years before World War II. That you could, but we don't need to have Nazis in every movie, so we can leave that out.
But they just make such good bad guys.
They do.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
Nah, it was good, and I'm right there with you, man. And if you had to put a stamp on this, which you've got Letterboxd, don't you? Do we have a
No, I don't. I don't have Letterboxd. I don't have Letterboxd because I see the comment section on the social media I do have, and I don't need that every day. I don't need people posting that on my opinions of films. So yeah, maybe one day I'll get Letterboxd, but right now I like being happy.
That's fair. Well, touching wood, I haven't had someone say anything bad to my reviews, but I haven't. But if you were to have a Letterboxd, how many stars would you give this film?
Is it a maximum of 5 stars? Is that how Letterboxd works?
5 stars.
I'd give it like 3.5. 3.5 stars. So that's 7 out of 10. I think that's fair.
I'd probably go 4 stars because I feel like there was nothing really that stood out to me. Like acting wasn't bad. The pacing was good. Everything was tied up into a nice little bow, or a nice warm cup of tea. Really, it was like a cuppa. Like the faults to me, like I've got no faults of it. Like I think it just did it for the mission statement, nailed it.
Yeah, I agree. So my 3.5 stars. That's a score of someone who doesn't have any emotional connection to the material. I imagine if I had seen everything preceding it, my score would be higher. But 3.5, like also coming down to enjoyment and rewatchability. Like, yes, I probably will check it out again, but it's not high on my list. Like, it's not.
No, not mine either.
It's not a particularly exciting film. Like, it's not boring, but it's also just kind of like that. It's the kind of movie I'd probably put on in the background if I was doing something. But like, I think 7. Like, that's why I like to use, even though 3.5 out of 5 and 7 out of 10 the same thing. That's why I like to clarify with 7 out of 10 because 3.5 does sound low. You're like, oh, that sounds low, but 3.5 I think is fair. It's like it's better. It's above average for sure. It's way above. It's quite a bit above average. I don't really have any flaws in it. It's just that I just wouldn't go back to it that often, I suppose. But I liked it. Yeah,
especially for the type of film it is. It's the end of it's the end film, and generally, not very often you go back to that film. Like to like for me, for the Dark Knight trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises is utterly fantastic, and I will die on that hill. But it's the least one I go back to.
Yes, I agree. That's the one I go back to the least as well. Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I don't like to do scores, because scores, like, people are like, what do you mean you gave that, so and so, but this got 10? It's like, I don't know, like, it's my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's the whole that's the whole point. Like, I know there's people who gave Don't Look Up like 4.5 stars. I'm like, you're a fucking moron. That
I've never watched it, but
awful.
I know your feelings on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like, I dug it, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just repeating myself at this point. It was good.
No, it was all good, man. But look, man, we have spoken for 2 hours and 6 minutes, and it's been an utter pleasure having you on the show.
It's been nice, man. It's so rare that I get to be a guest, and this will probably be my last guest appearance for the year. My show is going to go on hiatus soon, so.
Man, it's plenty more you can talk about. There's plenty more to talk about, and I'm sure I can steal you away for just an hour.
Yeah, but we promised an hour today. We can't help ourselves.
I know.
No, it'll probably be my last one for a little bit. I haven't announced why I'm going on hiatus yet, but I think this is the first time I've mentioned the hiatus on the show. So there's your.
Oh, he's got too many premiere tickets now. That's why he hasn't got time.
I'm too big for my boots.
His 9-second reviews have been turned to a HBO Max TV show.
Man, I don't even know what that would be about. Some loser who can't get his life together. But no, I was been looking forward to it. You came on my show a while ago, so I've been looking forward to coming back. I'm bummed we couldn't do Mortal Kombat, but the hiatus will be over before Mortal Kombat comes out, so we'll definitely do that one. I'll be there in theaters, ready for the gore.
Yeah, don't worry. I will still have you for locked in for next year, and fingers crossed, because of who looks after that film, that we will be able to get the premiere tickets to that.
Yeah, I've got a reminder set for July or whenever. May, sorry, not July. May. It's July too late.
May. I'm pretty sure it took. I don't know. I was gonna say it took the same release date as Avengers Doomsday before it got moved, but that was April.
Yeah.
So around about that time. But James,
was that meant to be April? Oh my god! Like I'm glad they're taking the time, but man, it was so soon.
That's what I mean. Like that's.
But we got Mario in April now, and I'll settle for that. I'll settle for Mario in April.
I guess Mario Doomsday. Yeah,
it's not like we're not getting Doomsday. We have to wait a little bit longer. All we have to do is stay alive for another year.
That's so hard. No, and look, James, you've been a fantastic guest. So please take this opportunity. Tell us where we can find your podcast. And
yeah, man.
What you're most excited with, what you got coming up on the horizon.
Yeah, so I was a teenage film snob. We're available everywhere podcasts are, I think. I signed up for a bunch of stuff. Definitely Spotify, definitely Apple Podcasts, and definitely YouTube Music. Thanks to Lee. He helped me sort out YouTube Music.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I'm on those. We're on all your major socials. So Instagram is probably the hub. We're going to get most information about the show. We're going to get most of the clips. We're going to get the 90-second reviews. We are on TikTok and YouTube and Threads. Threads I never check. TikTok, I have started checking because we started getting a lot of followers. We keep jumping between just under 1,000 and just over 1,000. But that's really cool. So I like that. So you can check us out there. But I can't follow you back on TikTok. They limit my follow backs after I click a certain number of buttons. So Instagram is the place. Yeah, because so many people, it's what a terrible problem to have. So many people were following me that I tried to follow them back, and you're following back too quickly. You must wait 24 hours. So,
geez, that's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. God forbid I support the people who want to support me. But anyway, so you can check us out there. If you didn't like this episode, then you probably won't like my show because it's pretty much that. But if you did, I don't shut up on my show either. And the show is really unique or really different. I jump between solo shows and team shows. So every other week, I'll sit down with my co-hosts and we talk about a topic. We just did a game. On our last episode, we did a game called Date Night where we pitched, we tried to guess what movie we're talking about through date clues. And we're recording this. Yeah. And then today, as of right now, an episode dropped this morning where I interviewed an author from the US. And then next week's episode, we haven't recorded yet, but I'm getting back with the team and we're doing a non-human sidekicks draft. So we're choosing our favorite non-human sidekicks and we're trying to see if we can come up with the best team, but it's a draft. So we're trying to, so hopefully we won't, we'll get our first choices. So that's quite kind of fun. I've also interviewed a bunch of really cool people. So if you go back through the history, like the big one was Gillian Bell. I always tried not to mention it, but I can't help myself. It was really exciting. So she was interviewed a few months back, but all sorts of wonderful filmmakers and stuff. So if you like that sort of thing, give it a go. I'm working on getting my shows shorter. What's coming up? Episode 150. I have no idea what it's going to be yet, but in about a month's time, episode 150 is coming up. So we'll probably mark the occasion in some way or other. We'll probably do a game show episode or something, but nothing's been finalized. And then I'm going on hiatus in November. I'll talk more about that on my show when it happens. So if you are interested, I'll reveal all. But I have been recording episodes already. So there should be at least some content. So I've been doing a lot of solo shows. So I've been recording, I've been ranking the movies of my favorite directors. So I've got about half a dozen banked already. So even though we'll be on hiatus, we should have at least a few episodes to cover the break. I'm taking off November to March. So I'm hoping there'll be enough content to at least get us through to Christmas. But yeah, that's a very long-winded explanation that wasn't very good, but that's
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So definitely, everyone listening, everyone watching, please go check out his channel. Please subscribe to it. The man's killing it, and he's going to be hitting that 10 million mark on TikTok in no time at this point. That's great. It's fantastic. And thanks for being here, James. And
Thank you.
No, appreciate it, man. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy